Well, hello there, my beloved antisocial butterflies. This is your queen bee of Mother Nature's castle, Katie, and I wanted to welcome you back to the Antisocial Socialite. Yeah, alright, I'm actually running out of accents that I can kind of semi-pull off, so that's probably the last one that you're going to hear from me. But welcome back to my show. This is episode number 6, and thank you for tuning in and being such dedicated, amazing people on this journey. I figured with 6 being my favorite number, what better way to learn about me than to dedicate this episode to me? That's right. This episode is about me. You're going to learn about me based off the questions that you have asked. So without further ado, let's get started talking about the antisocial socialite herself. I received a couple of questions about traveling, and I will tell you I love Don't mind the scratchy voice. I feel like my whole brain has been not touched by an angel, but probably like somebody at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, because I just got tested for COVID today and they shoved that thing so far up my nose I thought I was gonna die. But anyway, okay, let's go back to the travel part because that's way more important. So I love to travel. I have experienced so many amazing places here in the US, and while I don't have a ton of international experience, I've actually only been to Hong Kong and Aruba thus far, I can appreciate all the travels that I have done. I have been in the desert, more tropical areas, near the water, in the middle of nowhere, in cold Minnesota. I don't know who wants to go there, but I've been there. So I will tell you, I had a really cool and memorable experience with my cousin last year when my cousin was moving from Savannah, Georgia to Dallas, Texas. We broke the trip up into 2 days, so I actually had the opportunity to see some of the street murals that are in Atlanta, but also was able to experience what a lot of Dallas had to offer in terms of the art scene. I can't tell you that I like cities or rural areas more than one another because I just love going anywhere. I could take a quick road trip or I can be international, and I am so content with that. My uncle actually lives on a farm, so I just appreciate having the peace and quiet of being able to hang out with him, ride four-wheelers, sit on the porch, just enjoy nature and be at peace. But I've also been to one of the busiest cities in the world, Hong Kong. I'm in a street market, I'm experiencing the Bruce Lee exhibit. I mean, there's so many different things that you are able to do while in a city, right? There's so much culture, so much diversity, so much to really absorb. So that's actually one of the first things that I look for while going to a new city, especially, is the art scene. I love going to art museums and really soaking up what they have to offer. I also had a couple questions given to me about my favorite foods. So it was the people that really know me the most because they were trying to roast me. That's right. They know I'm the pickiest eater. I actually have stomach issues, so pretty much everything I eat I get sick off of, which is not fun. So I always joke around and I tell you, pizza's a triangle. Well, that's my food pyramid. It's also, hey, what up, Jay-Z? You're my boy. But I'm also on an all-carb diet all the time. No, I'm kidding. But I have a lot of food sensitivities, unfortunately. I wish I could say that I eat stuff that are really unique, but no, it's a lot of bagels and pizza and especially cereal. I am like a cereal connoisseur. I always have been. It's like so boring, and I actually just did an allergy test and I'm allergic to egg whites, oats, pineapples, bananas, yogurt, mozzarella, but that doesn't stop me from eating pizza. But a lot of like other healthier things, so I really need to kind of figure out what my next steps is. So to the people that roasted me about my food choices, I have a shitty diet, but I know that you guys still love me, and that I'm probably gonna order French fries anywhere that we go, even at Chinese restaurants. And you can ask Jackie about that because she says that I'm just like her little cousin. In addition to the food, I actually got a question about what my favorite wine choices are. I don't have any, right? Because I actually don't drink, well, Yeah, I don't drink. It's like rare that I drink. But I don't really drink because of the stomach issues that I actually just mentioned in the food section. I don't want to be violently ill in the middle of a bar if I'm out with friends, so I will just have a water and be content. And I've always had this saying that I act drunk. I just get in the mood and I'm like, woo, I'm drunk without the alcohol, because I'm actually a really fun time going out even though I'm sober. But I will tell you that I will drink on St. Paddy's Day. That's like my number one like drinking holiday, because I'm part Irish, so I just feel like it's like an obligation. But I will take shots of tequila. And tequila, from what I have read, is a probiotic, which makes sense as to why I do not get sick while drinking it. But I'm super lightweight when it comes to alcohol because I don't drink, so 2 shots of tequila and I'm done. There's actually one time when I was at the bar, I took 3 shots. I ended up falling and totally scraping up my knee. And then the next day, everybody's like, salt water is, Mother Nature's way of healing. So I went into the salt water and almost died because it stung so badly. But there was a fan there and I thought I was Beyonce blowing my hair in the wind. So that's probably also why God had made it so I don't drink, because I think it would lead to a lot more bad choices. Some of you wanted to know about dating life, my love life. Well, you're never gonna find out. Just like Issa Rae, how she doesn't talk about her love life or the fact that she's even engaged right now. She just is like, I don't really talk about that with family or friends. And it's no shade to anybody that I'm seeing or involved with. It's just, I don't want to talk about that stuff. I'm not like super like PDA all the time. Let's post it all over social media. So I'm pretty under the radar on that. As in terms of the guys that I'm interested in, I'm usually interested in trash. That's right. Total trash. And it could be somebody that's like a piece of trash just blowing on the street, or a full ass garbage can of trash. I have the worst taste in men, and the thing is I actually feel like I have really high standards and I'm picky about who I bring into my life, not only on friendship level but in a romantic level, and I choose garbage. I don't know why. Even though you're a bad guy, I know there's some good in you somewhere. I don't know where, but it's there. Right? All of us have done that. Or he's like, here's a dozen red flags for you. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. What? Simple things in life, right? Give me a flower, maybe a few. If you want a dozen, that's cool. Because I've actually never received flowers from a guy in my entire life. The only 2 guys that I've received flowers from are from my brothers, like for prom and when I graduated. So there's that. So yeah, I think that I'm not a good person to ask about that too, where I don't drink wine, I don't have good taste in men. Yeah. Wow, this is the depressing part of my favorite things in life, right? Or what you want to know about me. My best college adventure, well, let me begin by saying every day was an adventure. I actually texted one of my friends today to be like, what were some of our favorite college moments? And he reminded me of something so hysterical. So one of our friends, who is such a jokester, ended up taking like a $10 or $20 bill and he hooked it on to a fishing hook, and he brought the line all the way out to the sidewalk. Keep in mind, we're in Boston, so it's a city sidewalk. People are walking by all the time. There was about like 4 or 5 of us in the kitchen, and every time somebody walked by and tried to grab the money, he would actually reel it in. People were getting frustrated, but they just ended up walking by. Well, what had happened is a girl who actually went to the school with us at the same time was walking by, and she was pissed. She ended up noticing where it was coming from and started sprinting to the door to try to get into the building to come after us. So we ended up booking it out of the kitchen and straight down to my bedroom, and we were in there laughing so hard, trying to cover our faces with pillows so she wouldn't hear where it was coming from. So that was a really kind of like dumb, awkward thing that we would do all the time. So it's not even like we had the dumbest stuff. He also mentioned the time that we had ended up changing one of our friends' backgrounds on his computer, the wallpaper to what people know as a golden shower. And if you don't know what that is, I'm gonna leave it up to you to Google that. But it was two women having a golden shower, and we ended up setting that as his thing. We've written on permanent marker on people's faces while they were passed out, you know, typical college stuff. But I will say that junior and senior year, I lived with Michaela, and Johnny, my friend who I was texting earlier, had a beer funnel, and that thing was like a community funnel that went all around the dorm and people were drinking out of it. And that's probably why I think we are all immune to COVID-19, because of the disgusting things that we did in school. But anyway, she was so quick-witted and hysterical all the time. Like, it doesn't matter in whatever capacity it had to be. She was always so funny. So she ended up taking the funnel and turning it around so it was kind of like an amplifier, and she would actually yell down to people who were just innocent passersby going past our dorm building, and we had a really good view junior year, so she would be yelling at people and harassing them while we were like low key on the windowsill, so they never saw where it was coming from. But yeah, the responses were pretty funny, some ignoring, some flipping us off, some screaming back, but it was never a dull moment in college. So I will have to say that my experience, my best moments, it's too hard to even pick one. I will say that. A memory that I will never forget. That's actually a good one, because I have a lot of good memories that I'll never forget and a lot of bad memories that I wish I could forget. But let's see. What do I have up my sleeve? Actually, I don't have sleeves on. What can I tell you one of my favorite moments were? It's actually a good one. I didn't come prepared for that one. Well, I will say hands down when Hayden was born, because I know she's probably going to be watching this and she would be so mad if I didn't say the day she was born was a memory I couldn't forget. She's my goddaughter. She's my number one niece. Love her, obsessed with her. She has made my life so much different, but for the better. And I asked her the other day, you know, what would I do without you? I would be so lost without you. And she actually had a really funny response, but she actually threw some shade at somebody, so I'm not gonna put that on here. But you know, she's such a cool kid, so I guess it would be the moment that she entered this world. I will say that that's a good memory that I want to share with you guys that I will never forget. All right, an interesting thing about me, well, I've had my belly button pierced and I've had my labret pierced. I don't seem like the type to do that, right? Yeah, well, I'm not. It was kind of like, the belly button piercing was actually on April Fool's, my senior year in high school, and they had an apprentice, so it was free. So why not? But that was short-lived. And the labret was, I think, sophomore year, winter break, from college. And I was like, fuck it, let me just get this. That lasted like 2 days. So these piercings range from about 2 days to 2 months. So if you don't know me then, you probably wouldn't know that about me now. Another thought-provoking question that I received was, what was my favorite childhood memory? Similar to the question about college, I will tell you that I have way too many memories from my childhood that I cherish very deeply, so I don't know as if I have a special memory to share with you, but I will tell you a little bit about my childhood. So I actually, from kindergarten until about 9th grade, lived on the same street, but in 2 different homes. That's right. So I lived on a cul-de-sac, and we lived in one house from about kindergarten to 6th grade, and then moved next door to ourselves from 6th grade to 9th grade. But we had snowbirds for neighbors, and they were all grandparent age, and they would fly to Florida for the winter. So with that being said, we were the only kids on the block until they came back and their grandchildren, who were our age, came to hang out with us. So riding my bike a million miles an hour, well, not an hour, but definitely a million miles around the cul-de-sac. I should have had a speedometer on that thing. making a lemonade stand with my brother, and of course it's a cul-de-sac and it's not busy and nobody ever drives down there. So our only customers were our grandparents, Mimi and Papa. Love them. Mimi's still alive. Papa has passed away. But they were always riding for us so hard. And you know that Papa paid us a lot more than what we were charging for our lemonade. So we had that, but riding my bike to the store. So there is a village store. It's a local little tiny mom and pop convenience store that's down the street. So every morning before school, I would actually ride my bike. So I would say it's about like a mile away. I'd ride my bike to school and buy like $1 worth of penny candy, and I'd bring that little paper bag and I'd ride my bag home, and I had candy for the kids on the bus every day. So that was something I did, but I also rode my bike around the cemetery with my brother, which is really kind of awkward, but that's what happens when you live on Cape Cod. There's a lot of history there, which means a lot of cemeteries, right? So riding my bike was a huge part of my childhood. Yeah, I mean, living on Elmcroft was a pretty good life, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun times there, having friends over, experiencing, you know, being a child and growing up and getting into all different things. When my neighbors were building their houses, they had big construction sites that had massive dirt piles that they were unearthing to build the foundation. So my brothers and I would go over there and we would climb the mountain, and we were so dirty and gross, but my mom knew that we were having fun, so she did not care about that. So there's way too many childhood memories to count, so I guess I would just take that moment of my life growing up on that street as being my favorite moments, because it was really truly a fun time. I will say that I had a great childhood. Here are my responses from other questions that you guys asked me about. So my favorite time of the day is dusk. I think it's so beautiful when the sun's starting to set and it just seems like everything that's green outside just magnifies in color. I've always loved dusk for some reason. My favorite part about living in Boston is just having the small city vibe. Although parking is so annoying and hard to find, you do have really cool neighborhoods throughout the city that I think are fun to explore. And I like how young the city is with all the students, and we're near the water, I guess. I guess that. The moment that I felt the most proud about myself or an accomplishment, big or small? The moment I'm most proud about myself or have achieved an accomplishment, big or small, I guess making this show. That, to me, that's an accomplishment, because I don't think I would have done this out on my own. So thanks to quarantine and to the Legendary Media Group, I think that this is something that is kind of breaking me out of my comfort zone. So I could do that. Something that makes me the most happy, I will say peaceful moments. In terms of the word luxury, you always think expensive things, but luxury can be something that's invested that is really truly priceless. And I feel just having peaceful, relaxing moments wherever you are things that really make me happy. It doesn't take a lot to make me happy. Are you guys sick of hearing about me? Because I'm sick of talking about me. Well, I mean, I did dedicate this episode to myself because I wanted to pay homage to me for doing this. This was an achievement. That was one of the questions I was asked. So because it's my favorite number, because I want to share my life with you, all of that stuff, this is why I dedicated episode number 6 to moi. But I want to thank everybody who actually submitted questions to me, and I hope I answered them all to your satisfaction. And thank you guys for watching. I'm super excited for next week. I have a lot of fun things that we're going to talk about. But in the meantime, you know where to reach me, at Antisocialite Katie on Instagram and YouTube. So until then, I'll see you.